Hey guys, welcome back. In this video, we will learn how to implement search feature in a Rails 7 application using Ransack Gem. However, I'm implementing the search in a Rails 7 application, but you can follow the video and you can do this in any of the Rails version which you want to implement this search using Ransack. For example, you can do this with Rails 7, Rails 6, Rails 5, Rails 4 as well. Okay, but since the Rails 7 is the latest, so I'm choosing Rails 7 project for the search implementation. Okay, to add the gem, you need to add Ransack gem into your gem file. So just open the new tab in the browser and find the Ransack gem on Google. Okay, so let's open the new tab and gem Ransack. Okay, so here you can find active record Hackery gem. This is for Ransack, and you can just use this Ransack gem into your gem file. So let's open your gem file. Okay, and in the gem file, go to the bottom of the file and use gem Ransack. Okay, and as we know that after adding a gem, we just need to run the bundle install to log the gem into our project. Okay, so as soon as you run the bundle install, the gem is logged into your project. Okay, now we need to add methods and forms for Rensick. Okay, so before adding that, I just wanted to show you a couple of things like I have an employee model in my Rails application, so I will add the search feature for this existing employee model, and I also used this resource inside a namespace. Here you can see that this employee controller is in admin namespace, and let me show you using routes as well. Okay, so here you can see that I have used admin into the employees into the admin namespace. So we will add the Ransack method here, and we will implement the Ransack search form as well into the admin namespace for employees controller. Okay, so before that, let's open the Ransack. Here you can see that how we can use the Ransack into simple mode. So this is the Ransack method which we need to invoke on our model class with a query parameter that we known as params q. Okay, this is the default query param name into the Ransack. However, if you want to change the name of the search query parameter, you can change into initializer of Rensick. Okay, like you can name your query parameter like query or any other name that you want to provide. Okay, but I think it's fine to use the default name. Okay, unless it is very specific to change the search param name. Okay, so just see this simple mode. Okay, and here we will do the same thing in our employees controller. So let's open the employees controller and remove the existing implementation of the index section. Here we will add at the rate q equal to employee dot ransack. In this ransack we will add params q. Okay, and now at the rate employees equal to at the rate q dot result and distinct true. Okay, so that's fine, and you can see the same thing at here. Okay, now let's introduce the employee model attributes. So let me open the schema. Here you can see that I have such attributes like employee code, first name, last name, some email attributes and mobile numbers, address, date of birth, and gender attribute. Okay, and I will add search filter for these attributes. Okay, so here we need to implement our search feature. So let's open the browser here, and you can see that I am on the index action of the employees page now. If I refresh the page now, okay, this is working. So let's open the index action of the index template for employees into the admin namespace. So here you can see that I go to the app, views, admin, and then employees, and I just open this index action, index template. So here I will add a link for, sorry, first let's implement the form itself. Okay, and we will use form like this. Here you can see search form for, this is the Ransack form helper for searching records into Rails. Okay, so we will add search form for, and then our query object that we made into the employees controller. Here you can see at the rate q. Okay, so let's implement the search form for here. Search form 4. Here we will just doing it sample, and we will change it again into a bootstrap of canvas. Okay, just to make our form very good looking. Okay, so at the rate q, and here we need to provide url admin employees, and just make do, and the form builder object form, and here you can write end, just end this form. Okay, now let's add a div class form group, and into this form group let's provide a label, say form dot label first name, or you can make it like search by first name, and here you can add a text field, form dot text field first name count. Here this count is a matcher, no one is matcher into the range set. It means that first name contains. Okay, there are some other matches like first name equal, less than equal to, greater than equal to, and it depends upon the type of the attribute that we want to use. So you can use any kind of thing here like any kind of matches like contains, equal, less than equal to, greater than equal to, and does not match or does not equal to. And let me show you how you can find these matches. So just go to the bottom of the document of the Ransack, and here you can see the list of matches. So you can see the search matches here like equal, not eq, for not equal, matches, and it runs the like query, does not match, it does not match with the like, and matches, any matches all. So there are number of matches, and you can use any of the matches based upon your requirement and needs. Okay, now we will use contains count, because whatever we type into the string must match as a substring into the first name attribute or value of the first name. Okay, so first name count, and let's save it. And when you refresh the employee index, you will see that a form is here, search by first name. Okay, now let me add a submit button here. So let's add submit button, give class form group again, and add this, add a submit button here, form dot submit, search employee, and just add a bootstrap class to this submit button. Let's say btn primary, btn lj. Okay, now save it. So here you can see the search by first name, and here is a attribute now, and this is the submit button. Now let me find a user. Here you can see that Philip Mohar. Okay, so I will call a employee with first name Philip, sorry. Okay, so if when I hit on the submit button, here you can see that all the users who are matching with first name as Philip, here Mohar is the last name, so all the users matching with the first name Philip are displayed here. Okay, so now let here I can pass a substring of the first name as well. Like here you can see that philip, and here I'm passing just lip. So when I click on the submit, here you can see that I have Philip. Okay, now I can pass phi as well, and when I click on the Philip, Okay, phi, and when I click on the search as employee button, submit button, you can see that still I'm seeing the Philip. Okay, but now here you can see that man. If I type the man here, you can see I cannot see any record. Why? Because man is the value of last name, not the first name, so it is not included in any first name or any of the first name of any employee. So if I have filter edit for the last name, then I will get the value of this. Okay, so this is how the Ransack form simply works. Okay, let me make some spaces here because it is now too confusing. Okay, so this is the Ransack form area. Okay, now we will add the Bootstrap off canvas to make our form more attractive. So let's open the getbootstrap.com and see what is off canvas. Okay, so open the Bootstrap site and come to the components, and you can inside the components you can find off canvas. Okay, so whenever you click on the off canvas, you can see a documentation of it, and here you can see, let's see this link with herf. Okay, so this is the off canvas, and we will add our employee search form into such kind of off canvas into our Rails app. Okay, so for that, first copy this of canvas context here, a content component, and paste here, and just align it properly. Okay, we will make changes into this division and of canvas. So for now, just to refresh your index page, and here you can see. Okay, first let's come to the employee page. Here you can see that I have link with herb and button with data as BS target. So when I click on link with herb, you can see that an off canvas is open into my browser. When I click on the beta button with database target, I can see an off canvas into my browser. Okay, now I will replace this form into this off canvas. So first of all, remove this button because we don't need the button, because we will use the off canvas for link. Okay, make some space here. Now let's make a link here, link to take in Rails, link to, and here search employee, and we will add the link like of canvas example, and here let's add a data attribute, data bs toggle. Okay, and we need to provide off canvas here. Okay, now let's add an area attribute, area controls, and just write off canvas example here. Okay, and now add role. Role must be button. Okay, and now you can add class btn primary, btn lg. Okay, now you can remove this link. So now save the content and refresh your page. Okay, so here you can see the search employee button. Now when you click on this search employee, you will see that off canvas is opening upon the click of this Rails link. Okay, now close this and remove this content from the uh, off canvas body. Okay, so remove this drop down and this paragraph, and just copy your search form and place this inside the off canvas body. Okay, and paste it here, and just align it properly and save it. Now when you refresh your page, you can see that the search employee form has been disappeared now, and when you click on the search employee, you can see that form is visible inside the off canvas. Okay, now we will add the form with form control styles into our off canvas. So let's do that. Okay, and also change this heading. Like here you can see that off canvas is showing here, so let's change this heading and we will add search employees here. Okay, refresh the page and you can see the heading has been changed. Search employees here. Now let's add the form and remove this by first name or last name, because we will add a single attribute for searching through first name or last name. And here you just need to mention, here you can see that first name contains, if you want to apply a single matcher, okay, a single matcher on multiple attributes, then you just need to separate them by or keyword. So here you can use first name or last name count. Okay, and just let add a class here, class form control. Okay, and here you can add a class like let's say class form label. Okay, now save this. Here you can see this looks much better now. Okay, so add some padding here, a margin from top, let's say mt4. And now when you refresh this page you can see it like when you click on search employee you can see first name or last name. Now if you find using man, then you can find you can see all the employees whose last name contains the man as substring. Here you can see man, this has man, this is man, sorry, this Kurzman and Gutman, Weyman, Herman, man, and anything Berlman. Okay, now it is finding it records using either first name or last name. If let's compare with the first name as well. When you click on search employee you can see all the users who has first name as Philip. Now let's find a user with last name HR. So you can find Philip Moore, Keisha Moore, Coy Moore, and Eddie Moore. Okay, now let's add the attributes for address attributes and email attributes. So here I will copy this, and if you can see in my schema.rb I have to attribute personal email and work email. So now I'm trying to find an employee by their personal or work email. So but here I can use like by work email or personal email. And here I can use, let's say, work email or personal email contents. Okay, now save this and refresh the page. Here you can see by work email or personal email, I can see it here. Okay, now just do the same thing for address attributes as well. So here I'm using by personal or residential address. Okay, so here you can use personal address or residential address count. Okay, now save this attribute and refresh the page and you can see this. Okay, so there is some error. Okay, personal address or residential address count. Let's say still there is error. I think then there might be some attribute name mistake here. Let's check the schema. Here we have not personal address, even I have the permanent address. Sorry, I added the wrong attribute here. Let's add permanent address. Okay, now save the form, and when you refresh, you will see that this error has been gone now. Okay, so here you can write a permanent or residential address. So change the text here as well. So by this error, you can also try to understand that you have to provide actual attribute name. If that attribute is not found in your database or your schema, then you will get an error. Okay, so you must remember that. Now let's do the same thing for permanent and alternate mobile number. Okay, so now let's see what I have. Let's copy this from here so that we will not get any typo, and paste it into the index. Let's say permanent address and paste it here. Permanent mobile number or alternate mobile number. Okay, and now remove this permanent from alternate. Here you can see that in schema I have an attribute permanent mobile number and alternate mobile number, because employees can have both, either permanent and an alternate mobile number. Save this, and when you save this and refresh, you will get these four attributes: first name, last name, work email or personal email, permanent or residential address, and permanent or, oh, we need to change it here as well, permanent or, let's say, alternate content. Let's save this, and now we have another attribute. If you can see here that we added for first name, last name, personal email, work email, permanent and alternate mobile number, and addresses as well. Now we can add for date of birth and employee code. Okay, but employee code, we just want to make sure that employee code must be equal to. So we can use another method here, that is, let's say, just copy this. Rather than using contents, we will use the equal method for Ransack. Okay, so by employee code, by employee code. So here you can employee code EQ. EQ is used for equality measure. Okay, for equality match by employee code. Okay, so if you use for equality match, and whenever you filter an employee by its employee code, it will find the exact employee who has this same equality, same employee code. And just remember that you can perform equality match, and you should perform equality match when your column is, let's say, unique. Okay, for example, employee code is unique for all the employees, so that's why I am here equal measure here. And you can do the same thing for your attributes, but yeah, it definitely depends upon the cases. Okay, and now let's add the same thing for date of birth, by, let's say, date of birth, date of birth. Okay, and here I will use again date of birth, LTEQ. Okay, here the LTEQ means less than equal to, and I can use GTEQ for greater than equal to. For example, if I have date of birth attribute in an employee model, then I can use these two different matches. Let's say, uh, I can provide a date of birth to filter the employee ages or the date of birth, and I just want to find all the employees who has the date of birth less than that particular date or greater than that particular date. So in such cases, you can use the LTEQ and GTEQ measures. Okay, so date of birth less than equal to, and let's change the title by date of birth less than. Okay, and similarly, you can use the GTEQ here, and replace this less by greater than. by date of birth greater than. And the last attribute that we can use for our equality match, that is the gender, because we only provide male and female, so we can use the by gender. Okay, so here you can use gender eq. Okay, now save the form. And when you refresh the form, you will see, when you click on the search employee, you can see these attributes are in the off canvas now: first name or last name, date of birth less than, and date of birth greater than. But here you can see that I have made one mistake, that I just used date fields as a normal listing. So let me provide them as a date field, so that we can select a date here, date, and here date as well. Okay, now you can choose a date for matching date of birth. So let me find that what is the age, date of birth of this user. When I click on this, it has 1994 and 12 February. Okay, so let me find an employee with February 1994. So let's go to the 1994. Okay, and Feb. Okay, so I'm trying to find all the users who has date of birth less than 15 February 1904. And when I click on the search employee, okay, you can see that I have these users. So, and now if I view this employee, you can see this has the date of birth less than that user. Okay, now you can see age of this employee as well. This employee also have date of birth 1992, 02 and 12. Okay, so let's clear it. Okay, and you can find the gender by search by gender as well. When you click on the uh, submit button, now let's open the employee. Okay, the gender is not mentioned here, but you can see it in query. Let me show you the query. So this is how the query works. Okay, here you can see that all these attributes are null and gender passed as male. Okay, and it is running the query: select distinct employees from employee where employees dot gender equal to male. Okay, and the previous query you can find that select distinct employees from employees where employees dot date of birth less than equal to 1994, 02 and 15. It means all the employees who has age less than 15 years, less than this date. Okay, or uh, previous to the 15 February 1994. Okay, so this is how the Ransack search works. And here you can see that we have used the form inside our bootstrap of canvas. Okay, so it looks a bit nicer rather than having all such attributes at this place, and that will make the page very long. Okay, and but this looks very fine and very prettier as well, because all the attributes are in for not on the page, and they are in the off canvas right now, and we can render them in very uh, great bootstrap 5 style. Okay, now since you can see that we used that form inside our index template, and that makes our employee index template very large file and a very massive template, fatty template. So let's remove this template from here, and let's create a partial into the employees, admin employees, and name this partial as, let's say, search form dot html dot erb. Okay, and now just copy this. Here you can see the uses of partial as well, but by the way, I believe you know about the partial, but let's see the uses of partial again. Okay, and just to properly align this. Now you can see that this is aligned. And just to make sure that remove this, we will use q here. And now render this template inside our admin employees index template. Render this partial at the index template. So here you can write render and provide the partial path here. Let's say it is an admin employees and the file name is shared form. Okay, and you can pass the local like q as @q. Okay, now you can see that we rendered the partial here. And when we save this and refresh the browser, we can still see the form on the page. Okay, but now this is in a partial. Okay, and let's do one more thing. That here you can see that a url is here, and it seems an ugly url. But we do not, why? Because we do not have a reset button here. So let's add a reset button to reset our form as well. So open the search form partial, and in this partial, in the last form group, add a link which will redirect us on the employee list page. Link to reset, just redirect them to admin employees path. And let's add a class here, btn. Oh, this is bvtn, not outline, primary, and btn lg, and save it. Now when you refresh your page and open the form in of canvas, you can see a reset button is here. And now when I click on this reset, this will reset the url and reset the my form as well, because it is directing me to employee index page. Okay, so this is how we can use Ransack form with our Rails application. By the way, just wanted to show you one thing, that here you can see that with Ransack form I have provided a URL as well. But at the documentation, when you look at the form, you will not find any URL format in the Ransack search form. Let's see here. Okay, so it has simply used Ransack search form for @q. Why? Because it is considering that it is in your default routes and without name spaced resources. But since I have used the Ransack inside the admin namespace, so I need to provide that admin namespace URL here, unless it will not redirect on the uh, employees controller inside the admin namespace. So that's why I had to mention the URL here. Okay, and one more thing, this is what we have done with the search implementation using Renset. But in the next lecture, what we will do, that here you can see that we used this permanent mobile number or alternate mobile number contains, and the permanent address or residential address contains. This seems very large search fields into the search form. Okay, so we can refactor this as well by using Renset aliases. Okay, let's see how you can find use the Ransack aliases. Let's scroll down, and you can see the Ransack aliases here. Yeah, so let's say we can make it like, let's say, address, and we can place uh, permanent address or residential address contains. Okay, and that will work here. Okay, so that we will do, that is something that we will do and implement into the next lecture. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this, and you can apply the same concept in any of the Rails version and any of your Rails application. Maybe it is an existing project, or maybe you are developing something from scratch. Okay, but just follow this approach for implementing search feature using Ransack. And if you want, you can implement the Ransack search form without off canvas and on off canvas as well. But I will I will just try to encourage you that just use the off canvas feature, because if you can see here, it looks a prettier search form. And something which is not conventional, because conventionally we use search form in the either in the model pop-up or at the page itself. But here you can see that this is the format where we have implemented search form. It is mainly used in applications like, let's say, Heroku, or in some other advanced applications as well. Okay, so you can implement the same feature in your project and in your applications too. Okay, so thanks for watching this, and let's give it a try at your end. And I believe if you follow the video, you can implement search features using Ransack Gem. And we will meet into the next lecture using Ransack aliases. Okay, so till then, tata, goodbye, take care, and stay safe.